drift away. I don't care how high you are.
It's the biggest engineering project in China since the Great Wall. Over a mile wide and 600 feet tall, it will be the most powerful dam ever built. The cost? Priceless relics of 4,000 years of civilization and the clues to a mysterious culture. Today on the Yangtze River, it's a race against time. While China braces for the future, archaeologists rush to salvage the past in what may be one of the most ambitious rescue attempts of all time. It's called Changyiyang, the Long River. For thousands of miles, the Yangtze winds its way through the heart of China, past monuments to the world's most enduring civilization. Preserved here are the enigmatic symbols of a culture so old it reaches back 2,000 years before the time of Christ. Today, up to 17 million tourists a year flock to see the treasures of the Yangtze. Some are living museums, some are thriving spiritual centers, like the temples at Fengdu and Shibujai. Others are lost cities ruined by the passage of time. Chengdu was at the height of its power before Columbus arrived in the New World. Already enough artifacts have been recovered to fill several museums, but time is running out. At a site called Three Gorges, the world's most powerful dam will create a man-made flood that will inundate the Yangtze Valley. China is no stranger to disaster. In August 1998, the worst floods of the century ravaged the countryside of central China. The Chinese army tried to rescue an area the size of New Zealand and failed. 13 million people were displaced from their homes. In this century alone, the Yangtze has claimed over 300,000 lives. Yet the people endure. For as long as they can remember, the floodwaters of the Yangtze have been the lifeblood of China. The Long River begins its journey in the high plateaus of Tibet. Born of ancient glaciers, it plunges over 21,000 feet before cascading into the tributaries of the Yangtze Valley and making its way to the sea. Nearly 4,000 miles long, it ranks third after the Nile and the Amazon. Its drainage area is the size of Mexico. The Chinese hope the Three Gorges Dam will bring a boom to the 400 million people that occupy the Yangtze floodplain. But prosperity comes at a price. Rising water will soon obliterate one of the strangest chapters in Chinese history. Professor Ran Ruichan crosses a swift-flowing tributary north of the river. Each step takes him closer to an archaeological mystery. These are the hanging coffins of the Yangtze, the most bizarre burial site in all of Asia. Some coffins contain the bodies of up to 3 people, but no one knows for certain who put them there or why. One can only marvel at the skill and resolve of these ancient climbers.
How did they move the coffins up there? Even with our modern technology today, it is very difficult. Even monkeys would find it difficult to climb up there. Nobody knows how to solve this mystery.
Hoisting coffins up a mountain is not typically Chinese. It could be the work of a little-known culture called the Ba that first settled along the Yangtze over 4,000 years ago. This Ba sword, made of bronze, carries the image of a tiger, an animal they probably worshipped. Whether its makers had any links with the hanging coffins may never be known. The coming flood will wash away the clues. By the year 2002, rising water behind the dam will entomb some 1,200 known archaeological digs. Another 8,000 unexplored sites, likely filled with priceless artifacts, will also vanish. The flood will not be nature's doing, but man's attempt to control it. As the river slowly rises some 70 stories high, their splendor will diminish with every foot. Tourists from around the world arrive daily to relish one of nature's great spectacles before it's lost.
With for the bridge cabin, they stop opening for the captive driver boat here. At that time in winter, when so cold, we need to go a little far away to Xian. So we need to wait 2 minutes or over 100 square meters, 120 square meters. So 4 times that number. We have 3 main roads from the Yangtze River. We call it Da River, Da River. Gate Bridge, new Dragon Gate Bridge. Used to be we have an old bridge. November of 2008, the river went up higher. The river below the old bridge only 10 meters. For navigation, so the old bridge already turned off by measurement. The old bridge, we can old bridge. We call the old bridge bye-bye. Okay, bridge. Now Sarah here. Oh, I forget to tell you. My name is. Please pay attention to the left side. We can see some green bushes here. See it? In the middle part. In the middle. The middle part on the top of the green bushes. Yellow bricks to build a wall. Everything here, up there. This is the
Riverboat Captain Tan has worked on the Yangtze since he was 11. Now 65 years old, he is skipper of the White Swan, which carries wealthy passengers through the gorges. After half a century spent on the river, Captain Tan is about to retire. This will be his final voyage through the gorges as he has known them. It takes a lifetime of experience and ceaseless vigilance to survive the Yangtze.
In order to be safe, you must know the riverbed, the size of the boat, and the water level. And you must know if the boat can go through the channel. If you don't consider all those factors, life will be lost.
The ancient Chinese believed the river was controlled by malicious dragons. From commanding temples above the Yangtze, poets wrote tales of lost kingdoms and mighty battles with serpents. But now there's a new dragon, one that pits the raw power of the future against the cultural legacy of the past. Dr. Yu Wei Chao is the former director of the Beijing History Museum.
In the Three Gorges area, there are over 1,200 ancient sites, above ground and underground. They have great historical value, especially regarding the bar race. These were a people who were extremely brave in war, but who loved dancing and singing as well. We hope to understand more about the bar culture before it gets completely washed away in the flood, so we can share it with the world. This is my dream.
As early as the 1950s, archaeologists found traces of an ancient people on the fringe of the Yangtze River basin. In 1986, they unearthed these extraordinary bronze ritual masks. Created over 3,000 years ago, they provide evidence of a sophisticated Yangtze culture developing simultaneously with its neighbors to the north. Today, the region has been identified as a vital cultural hub, a new unexplored center of civilization. Archaeologists gained a stunning view of Yangtze culture when construction began on the Three Gorges Dam. The entire island of Zhengbao was slated for destruction. Before it was leveled, archaeologists dug a series of trenches